pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm Saul Williams. I'm running for the office of the presidency of the United States of America. I'm fighting for America to bring a 2020 vision to America. When I say a 2020 vision, that means we can see clearly, because I believe this country is going in the wrong direction. And we must make a correction on the direction that we're going in. However, what I really want to speak to is about the potential government shutdown by President Trump. I put together a program that I call the Federal Workers Protection Program. Now, what the Federal Protection Program that has been formed is to help federal workers while there is a government shutdown. Now, this is what it consists of. It is having the banks that are receiving the federal workers' direct deposit checks, giving the federal workers an advance of their paychecks during the government shutdown. Now, this advancement that the banks would give to the federal workers comes from the direct deposit that goes into their account. So the banks already got the information about what the federal workers would be paid, because as I understand it, they get paid every 2 weeks. So when it would come time for them to get paid by the federal government, the banks would go ahead during the shutdown to advance that paycheck so that the federal workers wouldn't have a problem and the government could, let's put it like this, those federal workers could come to work without having to be worried about working for free and having the things that they need to take care of. Instead of the bank saying we're going to waive the fees for overdrawing and overdrafts. No, just advance their pay. What would then take place is that once the government shutdown is over and the federal workers would receive their back pay, that would go to reimburse the banks. That would allow our country to continue to work without a lot of interruptions. Workers calling in sick, trying to take off from work, being in food lines. Now, what I've also produced is what they would take to the bank is a promissory note. And with that promissory note is that if there is a shutdown, the bank would go ahead and make these advancements. And with that promissory note, once the shutdown is completed and the bank forwards their back pay, that would reimburse the bank. That would stop, like the air controllers, that air control traffic, the TSA workers, and several others that are working without their pay because of the federal government shutdown. Now, I'm not famous enough or have enough political power at this time to call the banks, but we together, if you at least become a follower and a supporter of Saul Williams III running for the office of the presidency, we can begin to apply this. our politicians don't have creativity and innovation. All of them that's trying to run for office, they haven't even taken one moment to really at least try to take care of a coming problem that could happen again. My problem with President Trump, his campaign promise is to build a wall and Mexico's gonna pay for it. Well, I'm never gonna let him off the hook from that. Okay, now Paul Ryan, he runs like a coward, and he then goes ahead and gets $5 billion passed before he's going to stop being the Speaker of the House. Now, Trump is fighting with Democrats about the wall that he promised that Mexico's going to pay for. And furthermore, he had the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency all together, and Republicans still wouldn't pass funding for the wall. We need to wake up in this nation. That's why I said a 2020 vision for America. See clearly what we need to do. So here, I'm offering a program that if the banks were to get involved in this program to make sure that federal workers would get their pay during the shutdown, it wouldn't cost us $6 billion. They could go ahead on and do their work without being concerned or fretting about the funds and the money they need to take care of necessities and bills. I'm asking you, anybody can hear this video. Now, you can get the full program report if you go to Saul Williams III, you'll see it on the screen here, .wordpress.com/federal workers, federal workers protection program. And you can also see that I've generated a promissory note that would be taken to the bank by all the individual workers or the union or who's ever head to get the banks. Because if I could call all of these bank presidents or CEOs to go ahead on and put this program in place, because I've tried it, but because I'm not well known or famous, that, hey, well, they have other procedures that there's no way this information is going to get to them, or I can get them to institute this program. But hopefully, you or someone you know, or someone we know, or some way we know. My main concern is to make sure that federal workers don't have to go through the kind of shutdown that we went through January. Now, I'm asking that you should hear this. Yes, contact as many people as you can to support this and to support Saul Williams III that's running for the office of the presidency. You can see I produced a campaign booklet, and you can go to saulwilliams.wordpress.com as you see it on the screen, /2019/01/08 and /fighting-for-America. And you can see what I'm running on. I have a plan. I have a vision for this nation. And right now, what is most important to me is that the federal workers prepare for a shutdown. So you're not in food lines. So we're not having to be concerned about, can we have enough TSAs checking for people who are flying on the airlines or air traffic controllers coming to work. It's up to us, the American people, to fight for America and get prepared to do what's necessary before we go through another shutdown. And if President Trump should call for an emergency, let the Republicans be put on notice that once he sets that precedence, that the next president of the United States of America will have that same opportunity and privilege. And Republicans better not be saying one word or putting any obstacles in the way of the next president who calls for an emergency. This is Saul Williams III, fighting for America, to bring a 2020 vision to America. I love you, America. God is blessing America.